You good? Okay, play Syracuse tomorrow. Obviously, Syracuse is really good and got a lot of good players, good basketball team, obviously very well coached, and we'll need to play well and hopefully we can get a win. We really need a win, and but in order to get the win, you're going to have to play really well and just play well on both sides of the ball, and to even give yourself a chance to be in that position. So just got to keep grinding and be ready to go tomorrow at noon.
When you go into a game, do you have a preconceived idea of maybe we need to play mostly man or mostly zone?
I mean, we spend a lot of time in preparation. Obviously, things happen. We change defenses. We play a lot of different defenses. Defense has not been our issue this year. We've been good for the most part defensively. We've been good on the offensive glass, and for the 3 quarters of the season, we've been good on taking care of the ball. We just, we got to get to 70 to win this league. You got to get to 70. That's an important part.
Speaking of that, offensively, have you been tinkering with things? It seems like you've had some success with some high-low action with Jalen and Rodney or Javon, but kind of get away from that at times and then kind of get stuck into the old habits. And when the shots aren't falling, I know they're kind of daring you at times to shoot, but do you kind of have to be more creative with your sets when you're in the half court?
Obviously tomorrow they're going to zone, so you're going to have to make some shots. But Kelly, it's hard not to. It's hard not to have the guys not shoot the open threes. We're getting a couple of really good looks. And the Pittsburgh game, we shot it well from 3. We just missed the perimeter guys missed a lot of short shots around the rim. So but we want to be able. We need to score more points in the paint. So every option's on the table to help us do whatever we need to do to try to get to 70. But as you know, Syracuse with their zone, and you're going to get some threes that you got to make some, and probably make a couple last game. We're 5 for 21. We probably win the game.
After the game, a couple of the players said that we need to play hard for a full 40 minutes. Is there a lot more to it than just that from what you said?
Our effort's not the issue. Our guys play hard. I think that's, when you lose guys, that players are going to, that's not the issue. It's just, because like I said, offensive rebounding's effort, and defensively, we might have some deficiencies in some areas, but defensively guys give it all. It's just, and even as Kelly mentioned, it's just, we got to score more. We got to get to 70. It's just, it's no fun for the coach, no fun for the players, no fun for the fans when you're not scoring or you're missing a lot of opportunities. So we just got to keep grinding at it. We need to be able to win the points in the paint battle. I think that's important for whether that's, to your question, Kelly, even going back to that, just whether it's high-low and anything we're doing, tinkering or adjusting or tweaking. We're not. We're putting everything on the table to find ways to do it, and again through that, it is basketball, and you're going to get open threes, and you can't tell guys not. When they're that open, it's hard. Especially for the perimeter guys, it's hard to tell them not to shoot it. It's just you got to have them shoot it. We're due to get hot. It'd be another thing if they were a bunch of bad shots, but a lot of our shots have been. Open looks. Again, there's some things that, again, and it's basketball. There's going to be some, because it's a free-flowing game and it's an energy game. But for the most part, there's a lot of, we've had really clean looks.
Go ahead. Obviously it seems like sort of the key piece that's missing. Well, there are 2 things. Obviously, the defense post. Defense, I think, has been an issue. Their only issue defensively I've really seen consistently. But the ability to break down and have someone drive to the basket, and you had that with Okogie, you had that with Jose. Don't really have that guy with this team right now that can finish, and you have Davon who can break down guys but struggles to finish, and Miles struggling with turnovers there. How do you manufacture that? Is it pick and rolls? Is there something in particular you can do to try to create those opportunities?
Well, Kelly, look, I mean, this is our group, and our guys. This isn't the NBA where you could do a midseason trade or anything. So our guys just have to continue to get better, and I will. In my time here, and our teams have gotten better every year. Kind of around this time. But I also understand, you got to have wins to back it up, and I get that. That's the profession we're in. So I'm hoping, Kelly, that we can really start, before we leave January over these next 3 games, tomorrow and Tuesday and Saturday, that the development of our guys continue to get better, because we're going to need those guys to produce, and so it's not as much about. I mean, again, anything and you know me well enough. I'm going to tinker, tweak, adjust what we've got to adjust and do, but again, guys, players got to produce and perform in areas when they have some opportunities to do so, and I believe they will, and I hope that based on our past years, we've gotten better right around this time, or maybe a tad bit earlier, and you can start seeing the change, and so hopefully, but time's running out in the sense that I mean, we got to turn the page on that and really start seeing the dividends pay off. And I think we're close. I mean, I really should have we've blown a lot of games. And so it's not like we're, besides a game here or there, besides probably Clemson and that segment of Virginia, we've had a chance in pretty much every game. We just haven't been able to put 40 minutes together, Kelly.
Coach, when they have the open shots and they're taking it and they're not going in, and I know it's frustrating for you and for the players, how do you address the guys and say, just keep going? You don't want them to lose confidence.
No, well, look, basketball is such a confidence game. It's everything's between the ears, and we have to look. You got to remain positive. I mean, but this isn't. Little league basketball. This is big time college athletics, big time basketball. And so the guys know when there's not making it, they know the deal. And so you got to remain positive. But a lot of it's a confidence thing. And I don't think, my mentality a lot of times when things maybe, aren't working, to even work a little harder and just put even more, grind it out more. And so we got a lot of opportunities this Wednesday and yesterday, and we will get time today. I'm just really working on our spend a lot of time, even extra time shooting.
One more in the back.
Hey, Coach.
Yep.
So just kind of overall right now, kind of what you thought your team was heading into the season. Is that kind of what you're getting right now from your team, or is it, are you doing some things better than you thought and some things worse, or
I thought we'd have a different record than we are right now. Like I said, we definitely have blown some games, but there's still a lot of time. When I say a lot of time, and you got still a month and a half in a sense to turn it around, to turn the page and get hot. And sports is crazy, as we all know. We've all seen it. Everyone here has covered sports, been in sports. So you just you get a win, and all of a sudden it translates to 2-3, and all of a sudden you're winning 7 of 8 or something. I mean, we've all seen that with teams when it looks like it's bleak and dark, and it's not going to turn around, and all of a sudden, boom. And so I don't think we're that far off. I really don't. We just need to get over the hump. I think there is every reason, and I really believe this. I think there is every reason to think coming into this season there is a. When you're looking at it, there's a possibility of taking a step back. The biggest issue was last year. When you look at it, and I'm not bringing it back up last year, but we should have won more last year. We should have had we should have had more wins. And probably if that happened, then we're looking at this year as a natural progression of that you're because you lost some older guys and your younger team, but we didn't have enough wins last year where you could say that. And I thought the biggest thing more so than this year was last year. I thought we would have a way better record than what we had last year. And, because we sort of had the same team, but you're taking off a couple really older guys, and so last year we should have had more wins. That's the biggest thing. But for this year, I mean, look, we're right around the corner of just. I believe we're close. We just got to break through. Just got to break through and get there, and all of a sudden you get hot, and who knows what can happen.
Two more, Rod, if you got one.
You like your team to push the ball. When
Well, one of our good ways to score is offensive transition.
Do you feel like they're making the right decisions on those breaks?
I actually think teams are trying to get back in transition to guard against us in offensive transition. But yeah, I mean, we're getting some good looks on it. But I mean, you guys saw like how many times on Tuesday. I mean, Miles had a couple clean looks in transition fast break. Lance had a couple. Debo had a couple. Speaking of Lance, he's doubtful for tomorrow with a hamstring injury. Tristan will be out with a hip pointer. So I don't know when. Lance is doubtful. Not sure if he'll play tomorrow. Right now, probably not, but it's doubtful. Tristan will be out. He's got a hip pointer. His hip's been bothering him. I wasn't going to play him on Tuesday. I asked him at halftime. His hip was really bothering him. He had just hurt his hip. I said, because I knew we were getting a little stuck scoring. I was asking, can you get in? We might need some shooting. And he said, yeah, I can try. And he got in. I just felt he didn't look healthy when he was playing because his hip was bothering him. So I pulled him out. So, but we're going to, shut him down to try to get his hip healthy. And then Lance got a hamstring, so he's doubtful for tomorrow.
Kelly, last one.
I guess kind of looking at the big picture here, you have this young core of a team, and the guys are not producing maybe the way you expected to this point. As a coach, what can you do there? And obviously, frustration's growing both, I'm sure, with the players, with yourself, your staff, and then outwardly, even with the fan base. And I'm sure Jay Batt and those people are frustrated a little bit with how the season's gone as well. Just how do you deal with all of that moving ahead?
Well, look, I mean, first of all, we've had great practices. Our guys, there's no letting up on our young men. Our guys are fighting, and we're fighting. I'm a big believer when you're on the ropes, you don't go in no fetal position. You fight back, you kick, you scrap, you elbow, you do whatever you got to do to get off the ropes. Push, punch, eye gouge, whatever you've got to do, literally to get off the ropes. And so, but the one thing you can't do is go in a fetal position. So we're not going to go in any fetal position. I can tell you that. And we've, that's one. And our guys, we've had great practices. Our guys are. We're having chances to win. There's segments in games, Kelly, where we're just not able to gets a little bit away from us on some things. But I would say I understand the frustration by the fans, and I absolutely. I mean, the results aren't acceptable. I mean, we want to win. There's no denying we want to win. It's important to win. I get it, and it's the losing's not acceptable. I mean, I'm as competitive as anybody out there, and I want to win every game. I want to win every possession. And so I understand any frustration by the fans. They have every right to be frustrated when we're not winning. As I said many times since I've gotten the job, this is their team, their program, the Yellow Jacket Nation. And thirdly, I would say, as I mentioned just 2 minutes ago, I think the fans might feel a little differently if, I really thought last year, and again, I'm not taking anything from this year, but when you look at last year, we should have won more. Should have won more. We lost a lot of close games, and if you had won more last year, considering who you lost off that team, you pretty much had the same team back, and you're really young. I think fans would have been more. It would be more tolerable in a sense. Not that losing's ever tolerable, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, it would be more of an understanding. But we didn't win enough last year, so now didn't win enough last year, and we're not winning right now enough. So it's back-to-back years. Now we've had some good wins. The both last 2 years we've beaten Georgia both times, but we haven't continued that afterwards. You know what I mean? And I know how important that is to beat Georgia for the Georgia Tech fan base, but. If we probably had, with some of the guys we had last year and had a few more, more wins, had a better year, I think it would not be as maybe as much frustration right now because I think more understanding. But I get it. We didn't win enough last year, and we're not winning enough right now. So we just got to keep grinding and get some wins. The good news is there's a lot of games to be played. Great news is that's the good news. The great news is in sports, man, you just never know what can happen. That's what's amazing about sports, as I mentioned. You get hot, you get a win, you break through the barrier, and all of a sudden you're winning 6 in a row, 7 of 8, 9 in a row. I mean, we've all seen that happen. Doesn't mean we're going to do it, but you're explaining to the young men that I mean, there's those stories out there that's happened. We just got to get through the barrier.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks everybody. Yep.
You said Terry is out.
Doubtful.